Hello. Today we're going to talk about how Scrum works and how the different elements of the Scrum framework fit together in a self-reinforcing package to deliver excellent results. First, let's talk about roles in the Scrum world. In Scrum, we have 4 separate roles. First is the product owner. This is the person concerned with what the team is working on and making sure that the team prioritizes the activities that create the most business value for the enterprise. Second is the Scrum Master. They're concerned with how the team is working and act as a sort of process coach to ensure that the team continues to improve over time. Third, there's the team. If you're on a Scrum team and you're not the product owner or the Scrum Master, you're considered a member of the team, the people actually doing the work. And then fourth, while not an official role, we like to think of the customer as a member of the Scrum team. So to begin with Scrum, you need to start by collecting input from all of the potential stakeholders that would have a useful perspective on the product or service that you're trying to develop. It's the role of the product owner to distill all of this chaotic information into a concise vision of what the product or service should be. And that is captured in what we call the product backlog. The product backlog consists of a series of features. The ones at the top of the backlog should be the ones that are more valuable, need to happen first, or create the most business value for the company. And particularly the ones at the very top of the backlog should be defined precisely enough that the team can pick them up and run with them immediately. The features at the bottom of the backlog can be defined more loosely or more vaguely, since by the time the team gets to those features, their understanding of what the product is may have changed significantly, and so that perspective can then be built into the more detailed definition of those later features. At the beginning of the sprint, there's a ritual called the sprint planning meeting. This is where the team gets together with the Scrum Master and product owner, looks at the product backlog, and pulls the most high priority stories into the current sprint in what's called the sprint backlog. The sprint is the central feature of the Scrum process. It lasts between 1 and 4 weeks, and it's a regular, discrete unit of time over which the team tries to produce a meaningful increment of product. By having the same period of time over and over again, the team can conduct experiments with their process and decide whether they can actually accomplish more or less in that same time period with the revised process. Once a day, the team participates in a ritual called the daily stand-up. This is intended to ensure that everyone on the team is aware of what everyone else on the team is working on. Each team member goes through in turn and talks about what they've done the previous day, what they're planning on doing during the upcoming day, and any impediments or things that are holding them back or preventing them from working as efficiently as they can. At some point over the course of the sprint, the team needs to engage in product backlog grooming. This is essentially looking ahead at the product backlog and those stories that were defined less precisely further down the backlog, and making sure that the learnings of the past sprint have been incorporated. The definitions of those features are becoming more and more precise as they rise towards the top of the backlog, to ensure that they are ready when it comes time to bring them into the sprint. Now at the end of the sprint, there are 2 important meetings to close out the work of the team over the course of the sprint. The first of these is the sprint review. This is a chance for the team to get together, look at the work that they've actually produced over the course of the sprint, and get feedback on it. Think about ways to make it better for future sprints. Many teams actually prefer to invite customers directly to this meeting so that they get direct first-hand customer input into the product on a regular basis. The second of the meetings is the sprint retrospective. Whereas the sprint review focuses on what the team has produced, the sprint retrospective is a chance to focus on how the team produced that. It's facilitated by the Scrum Master, and it's an important time of reflection to ensure that the team continues to improve over time and is always getting better. As we mentioned, the objective of the sprint is to produce a meaningful increment of the actual product at the end of every sprint. We refer to this as the potentially shippable product increment. Over time, these potentially shippable product increments accumulate sprint to sprint as the team finishes work. And here again, it's the product owner's responsibility to monitor the business value that has been created with each of these potentially shippable increments, decide when enough new business value exists to be worth shipping to the customer, and at that point, they trigger a new product release and the new product goes to market.